of you are new, and I'm super excited to have you. All right, so we're gonna get started. So you probably all saw between Facebook and different places you heard about this. My name is Michelle Withers, and I have been with 3 different direct sales companies. I've sold stuff seriously since I could walk and talk. I've always been someone who likes sales, like talking to people. It's just something I've always enjoyed. I'm not at all slightly normal, but that's okay. I like it that way. And this is just what I do. So I've been with 3 different direct sales companies and had the privilege of earning their titles and their trips and whatnot, and had a lot of fun doing that, and realized I love training people more than I loved any other part of it. And I really thought it would be fun to train people who sell all sorts of different things. So actually from there, in between there, I realized that youth needed to learn more about goal setting. And so I started working with youth a lot. And as I worked with youth, I'd have parents tell me, boy, when my kids, or the parents would tell me, I need this too as much as my kids do. So then I started working with adults again. And now I work with families, I work with youth, I work with people in sales, I work with a big variety of people. And I can send you a couple of my YouTube videos. I have one that I just did at a Toastmasters breakout session. So I spoke at their big district meeting that happened to be here in Tri-Cities, and I did this whole thing on goal setting, and it was so fun because I still remember the funnest story when we were done is this sweet lady. She had to have been like 70, but she was like this spry older lady with all, totally gray white hair. But she was just so excited, and she went up to me. She goes, guess what I finally did? And I said, what did you do? She goes, I finally made a bucket list. I said, you did? What's on your bucket list? She says, I'm going to go in a hot air balloon. She goes, my husband won't go with me, but I'm going to go in that hot air balloon. I'm like, that's awesome. So I talk a lot about goal setting. And I also have one that's more of a spiritual nature. I really believe goal setting is a way that God has given us to help us pray always, because he said pray always, but most of us, because you're all on these phone call, you obviously didn't think that meant to be on your knees 24/7, and that's not very possible if you're going to function at all as a human being. So I realized that when I set goals and I had up reminders about my goals and systematic ways to remember to work on them, that was one of my ways that I could kind of have that little silent prayer real quick as I went along my day, and it was another way to pray always. So I have 2 different videos on my YouTube channel that you can watch about that. That's kind of fun. So, but I love goal setting. There's a lot of power in it. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Hi, we have someone else on the call. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. So remind me what you sell, Jen.
Dove Chocolate Discoveries.
Oh, yay, you made it. Okay. I had a couple.
Sorry, I'm gonna mute you because I have to drive.
Okay.
But I wanted to be able to at least listen in.
Okay, I hope you meant we're gonna mute you versus mute me.
Oh, well, just so that you don't hear like my road noise.
No, I know. We'll mute you. I can mute you from my side. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. And I didn't tell you, Jim, I know that Jim sells doTERRA. So we have several on the call here. I'll wait a second. I'll tell you just a few more stories. And then we'll see if there's a couple more on the call, and we'll let all of you introduce yourself. So I'm going to guess, because you're all on this call, one of the things you'd love to have happen is that you find more customers as you're just going about your everyday life. Is that a guess? Is that a duh? Okay. All right. Yeah? You're like, yes, please, bring it on. All right, so tell me how it would feel to go about your daily life. You go to the doctor's office, you go to the grocery store, you go hang out at the mall, you're even on vacation. How would it feel to meet people that then become your customers? What would that mean to you? Nolan?
A lot.
A lot? What does that mean, a lot? Like, how would that feel? How would that change things in your life?
Well, it would really feel good on just a personal level on having met, some people, but it would also help as far as growing the business and meeting your goals for that.
Right, exactly. Anyone else? I'm going to unmute Kathy here.
I just, I think that it would make it that much easier once we get some of those tools, is just to be doing it all the time. It doesn't matter where we're at, that we can, you know, interact with people and feel comfortable.
Right, exactly. Awesome. Super. Any other thoughts? Nan, what are your thoughts on it?
I think that it would be great because it not only promotes your business and hopefully you will get more income from that and more contacts from others.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And now that you say that, contacts from others, another class we'll do, and I can't remember where it's on my schedule, we'll do referrals another day too. Referrals is a big one that really helps a lot. And how about you, Jim? Tell me a little bit about what it would mean to you to be finding new customers as you're out and about in your normal life.
Well, that's basically what we do. We share essential oils belly to belly with people, and that's what That's what I do. And to find new customers, that's a great thing.
Cool.
That's what it's all about: is new clients or new relationships,
Perfect.
not clients.
Excellent. All right, Jen, I'm going to let you keep driving. I'm not going to bug you till you're stopped, okay? All right. So is it okay if I share a story with you about an experience I had with this? So we started out here in Tri-Cities, Washington. Here is Tri-Cities. It's relative when you're all different places. And then we lived here a couple years. We moved to North Dakota. We lived there for a while, then we moved to Montana. I kept praying my way back west. And we were moving to Montana, and I was with a scrapbooking company at the time. We were moving to Great Falls, and I was moving to a city where, I'm not kidding, I didn't know one soul there. Nobody. Zippo. I didn't know anybody that lived there. And I was big into my company, and I knew I needed to do some sales and needed to meet some people. And I had a goal that within 30 days, I'd book 8 parties. We did parties. Okay? Everybody calls them something different, classes, get-together, spas, everybody has their word. But I wanted to book 8 parties in 30 days, not knowing anyone. And so off I go, and I had 2 little children, and then I think I got pregnant in there too, pretty quick, but I can't remember how quick it was. And I decided this is what I was going to do. And we were sitting in our hotel waiting for the house to be ready. We had this U-Haul sitting out there. And I still remember it was a public television station, and there was a mom's group. And I saw the phone number, and I wrote the phone number down. And that was my very first contact. It was just this group that I was going to go to for moms with toddlers. And then we got into our house, and I had some stuff I needed to ship to someone, and it was in a box with the name of my company on the outside of it. And I head into the post office, and somebody asked me about the name on the box. And I find another contact. Anyway, off I go, meeting different people in different places. And I did. I booked 8 parties in 30 days, knowing not a soul. So it wasn't even like I had a circle of influence to draw from, but I needed to meet people to make this happen. And so this is an experience I've had. So this is what I do, okay? This is what I know is possible. And it's one of those things that's like you definitely have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. But I'm going to tell you some ways to do it that I really believe make it easier, okay? All right, so the first thing that I really believe that everyone has to do is, first of all, completely change their mindset that your goal is simply to make new friends. It has to completely change. No more who's my next kill, who's my next client. It's just got to be, I've got to make more friends. And when I was younger, I would talk to anyone, and I was kind of the opposite. I was just kind of born like this, Barb, so you'll laugh at this. My parents were very, very shy, extremely shy, very reserved. And I talked to everyone, and it was so uncomfortable for them. Oh my gosh. I still remember being in Salt Lake City with my dad, and we were walking down the street. You know, that's a big city compared to this tiny town I was growing up in, and I said hi to this person on the street as a teenager, and he's like, do you know them? And I said, no. Well, why would you talk to them? And I'm like, because you just do. You're going to get yourself killed one day. I mean, he was just like, I said, well, I'd rather get killed be nice. So that's just the way I am. Just going to have to deal with it. But and so, you get running with kids and life happens. And I realized I wasn't being quite as friendly as I had been in the past. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to make more friends. It's just going to be the way it is. I'm just going to start talking to people. But I'm going to give you some little tips that give you something to talk to people about. Because sometimes that's the thing. It's like you're standing there and you see this nice this person it looks like would be approachable. And it's like, but what am I going to say, And so I'll give you some tips there. But the first thing I want you to do is simply just change that mindset that wherever you go, whether it's Target, the person next to you at the doctor's office, you're standing in line getting a prescription, whatever it is, you're at the gas station, Costco, wherever you go, just start talking to people, okay? And I'll give you some ways to do that. But I guarantee you, your odds of finding customers when you're out and about, simply because you're talking to people, period, is going to go up, okay? You have to be willing to start talking to people, just period. But I'm telling you, when you have that mindset of, I'm just trying to find my next, some people almost have that too, I'm trying to find my next victim, the next kill, it won't come off the same way if you're not just simply, I'm going to see who needs me. And the constant prayer that I always have in my heart with my business now is, who needs this message? I feel very strongly that my Heavenly Father helped me get these talents and the understandings that I have, and whatever your gifts and the things that you have to give other people, that's something that you're learning and you're growing and you're getting inspiration on too. And when I have the prayer, who needs my message? Help me find the people that need my message. It flows versus this jerk and like trying to force it. It just feels, I just don't know how to explain it until you try it. It just feels different when you let it flow, when you just have that prayer in the back of your head. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have to be deliberate about it, okay? You can't just go out and stand in the middle of a park and expect that people are going to come talk to you, okay? God does expect us to do some part, and that's why we have to talk to people while we're out and about. So one of the first things that I want you to do, though, is think about setting some goals regarding how many people you want to meet while you're out and about, okay? And make a percentage of that, not all of them, just make a percentage of that. I met this many new people, and this percentage of them are people I'm going to get to find out if my product fits. You'll hear me say this over and over again, okay? I don't believe in the whole, a lot of businesses talk about that we're just sharing. We're just sharing our product. But then I see people kind of vomit sales on people because they're sharing. They think they can like tell them all this stuff when they didn't really get to know them yet. And that's sales. That's not sharing. Okay. If you didn't stop and get to know them first before you shared your product, that's not what they were referring. That's not my definition of share. You can share as long as you get to know them first. Okay. That's just my carnal rule here. So set a goal. Now, let me tell you, there's a couple things you can do. It can be a number of how many people you want to meet. It can be a number of how many people you want to find who need your product. It can be a number, for me, I used to have numbers of how many parties I wanted to book, how many individual sales I wanted to do, how many recruits I wanted to make. I mean, I had people that were going to fit in lots of different places because everybody has different needs. And so I had different types of goals of different people that I knew I would like to find. But I just started making friends and then see how that was going to play out and how they're going to fit in. So I really believe in writing them down. Write down those goals. And then let me tell you the trick to this. The trick is, if you've ever set a goal and you, let's say you put it in a journal, or maybe you put it on your phone under notes or something like that, and all of a sudden, like a week goes by or even 30 days later, and you pull out that notebook and you go, oh, shoot, I set that goal, and then I really haven't thought about it. And because I haven't thought about it, I haven't consciously worked on it either. Anybody had that experience? I'm just as guilty as the next person, okay? So this is what we're going to do to start helping you remember to actually work on it. Because that's the first trick, is like to actually remember that, oh yeah, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and do this today. And because we just get going and we get in auto mode, and 90% of what we do out of our life is out of habit. And so I got to tell you, you've got to be nice to yourself, okay? When 90% of what we do out of our life is habit, when there's this thing we want to start up and start doing, unlike if you had a job like Walmart where you punch a card and you know you're going to be fired, that kind of forces you to show up. But you're all self-employed. If you don't show up, right, the only person that fires you is you. And so there's not that same like negative instant consequence, except you just kind of feel crummy about yourself. You know, go watch your favorite TV show and forget about it, okay? So that's the difference in this. So we want to create some visual aids. So these are my little tricks, okay? Because we want to be meeting people when we're out and about versus it just, you know, we can't do it at home. I guess we could pray some door-to-door salespeople show up, but that's probably not going to help. That's probably not going to happen. So what we need to do is create some visual aids. And let me tell you some of my favorite places to put them, okay? My number one top favorite place to put my goals is right next to the speedometer in my car. I have 4 children. I'm going places all the time, and I can guarantee you that I'm checking that speedometer over and over again to make sure, because I don't have time or money for a ticket. Okay? I'm pushing it by 5, but not any more than that because I can't have a ticket. So that's my first favorite place to put it. So let's say in 30 days, let's say you said by June 30th, I'm going to meet 40 new people, and 12 of them are going to be new customers. I mean, how would it feel if you got 12 new customers in the next 30 days? Would that be exciting? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is, so that's my first favorite places by the speedometer. Some people will put it on their visor, but not everybody uses their visor, and that's not as consistent on the speedometer, but it's up to you. Another thing you can do is put it as a business card in your wallet. Like if you're someone who uses cash, or put it in the same pocket as your debit card, okay? Or you could even write yourself a note on your debit card as you pull it out. It just kind of depends on how you choose to pay for things, okay? It could be a note in your check registry if you use your check registry. It can be a keychain. It can be a button that's just a reminder for you, not an ask me about my product button. That's not what I mean. That doesn't count, okay? Just a button. It can be a picture. It could be something, this is why I want to earn this money by finding new customers. It could be your trip to Disneyland. It could be you just want to have more for retirement. It can be a trip that you're earning for your company, whatever it is. Just a picture, and you put it on a button and pin that to your purse, okay? There's a lot of different ways. The other place I highly recommend our goals always being is right next to our bed, because we go to sleep, but our subconscious works on ideas on how to make our goals happen the next day, and it's the first thing we see in the morning. But it still needs to be some place that reminds you while you're out and about, okay? When it's the last thing I see is I'm jumping out of the car, it reminds me, oh yeah, okay, I'm going into friendly mode right now. And I gotta slow down, and I need to, you know, for me, I have little kids, so I have to train them all to cooperate. You know, even bribery is okay. Because I can get talking to someone, I'm bored, I want to go. That's when I hand them my phone and they're playing games, okay? So there's a little bit of that has to happen in my world based on my life, okay? But everybody's kind of different. So the first thing, so you've got those couple things. You're going to set a goal, and you're going to post it somewhere. I highly recommend multiple places, especially when you first get going. But you got to have those reminders just to remind yourself to do that goal. Okay? Any questions?
I know one of my goals that I do is every time I go to a store, I can't purchase anything unless I know I have a business card in my hand, and I hand it to the clerk as she hands me my receipt back.
Oh, no, that's interesting. Okay, cool. All right, well, we're going to talk a little bit about, hang on just one second here. Sorry. I'm going to tell you a little bit about business cards in a few minutes, okay? So hang on to that thought. That's a great thought. Good job. All right. So moving on from there, let me see if I had any other. Oh, some people create bracelets. Another thing is, if you're someone who wears clothes with pockets in it, like I don't have pockets in my clothes consistently, okay, because I'm not a jeans person, so I don't always have pockets. But if you do, and let's say your goal is to meet 5 people a day, you can put coins or little stones in one pocket, and you move one at a time to the other pocket as you've met people during the day. Okay, so I've heard lots of little ways to do this. Okay, whatever works for you is fine. Okay, so your next goal would then be being deliberate about being in places where you would meet people who need your product. Okay, for some of you, that can be any place. Like, it's pretty generic. There's a lot of people who need your product. They just need it for different reasons. Other of you might, want to think more about where is your product sold, or where are the type of people that you would sell it to. Okay, so make lists like that, and sometimes you just have to be deliberate about it. Other times you can just do it when you're out and about. And then thinking about who you need to find. All right. The other thing that I highly recommend is finding a way to meet people that aren't your natural circle of influence. Okay, if you need to meet people a different age or a different sex, if you mostly know women and you need to meet some men, or vice versa, in age, like a lot of times I'll see people that have teams and almost their whole team is a similar age and similar circumstance as someone else. So like if you need, I would highly recommend mixing it up and making sure you're talking to people at different ages, different sexes, different, situations in life, and being in those places, whatever your stage is, find the opposite, find a couple ones that aren't typically yours, and being in those places too, to kind of have a broader range of people that you service. Okay? All right, so let me tell you a couple conversation starters that I like. So the first one, which is one of the easiest ones and people love, I love the quote by Abraham Lincoln: everybody loves a compliment, okay? Everyone loves to be complimented. So that's your very first, just get a conversation started, is by complimenting someone. It can be what they wear. We all love our children complimented, even when they're being naughty. It can be their purse, anything like that. Ask some sort of compliment to just get a conversation started is a great way to get things going. Okay, so that's your very first one, is a compliment. Is that too hard for any of you to do? No? Is that one you can easily do? Okay, so try a compliment, because that just kind of gets things rolling, and people usually take that really well. So the next thing I want to teach you about is open-ended questions. Okay, this one takes some practice, but when you get it, it really feels amazing. Okay, an open-ended question means they give an answer that would be a full sentence versus yes or no. Okay, so it's real easy to ask someone. One of the things I'll do is I'll notice what they're buying, ask somebody, so, how do you like that new cereal that just came out? What do you think of this cleaner? Those kind of things. But one that people get hung up on is, so do you like that cleaner? Yes or no? Okay. And then they answer you, and then there's no place to go from there. It needs to be open-ended, so then you get some extra information, and then you can have a follow-up question with it. So how often have you used this cleaner? How long have you been using this? Or is this your, tell me, is this what you've always used? Oh, I've never tried that soda before. How long? have you been drinking it? What do you like about it? I mean, there's all sorts of different types of open-ended questions, okay? You can ask somebody where they got something that they're wearing. You can ask, how often do you, come to Target? Is this your favorite place to shop? Kind of joke about that this is your Target or whatever. There's lots of different ways to ask open-ended questions from people. And it's a much, much better way to get a conversation started, okay? That yes-no question, I see a lot of people will ask kind of a yes-no question trying to lead the conversation where they want. The more that you can leave it open and just be friendly and find out information about them, and then kind of fill out where you could lead it from there if there's something that gets brought up where your product could be helpful, that's what you want to do. You want to let it happen because, for example, okay, if someone, because I have two doTERRA people on here, I'll use your product, for example. If you have a child and a parent, and let's say the child, you can tell it doesn't feel very good or something like that, and you get talking about that child's illness or, what kind of things they're using for that. One of the things I find is that if we just focus on that one thing versus asking, hey, do you have other kids? Do they get sick too? Do you and your husband catch it also? Tell me a little bit about your family. And as you're broadening this, the more needs you can find. So let's say hubby has his own physical thing, and the kids, one has a stomach thing and one has an earache thing, and you're low on energy because you're chasing kids. Like if you can find several things out and then have something to offer people, you're much more likely to get in with them and have an opportunity to sell to them, okay? It's when you find, the current rule is if you can find 3 needs, 90% of the time you'll close the deal. If you only find 1, they can easily find an excuse, okay? So that's the thing. It's like I see people all the time find that one need and go in for the kill. And it's like, no, you're not done being a friend. You haven't found out enough about them yet to go in for that yet, okay? Now, I will tell you towards the end here, if people are in a hurry and there's only 1 need, it's okay to then ask, hey, I'd love to see if something I have might be a good fit for your family or might be helpful for your son or your daughter or whatever their ailment is, okay? And I use this, can we find out if it's a good fit? I don't say, I know exactly how you feel. I don't say, oh, I have something that you're going to love. I don't say any of those kind of things because people like to feel like they've made their own decisions. They do not like to feel like they've been convinced of something. And if you find lots of needs and then go, hey, I might have something that you may find this a good fit. I know some other people in a similar situation as yours. Don't ever say the exact same situation. No situation ever is exactly the same. So use the word like similar instead of exactly, okay? And it softens it up. It makes people feel like you've let them talk and you're going to let them make a decision and you will allow them to say no and not be weird. And believe me, they're much more likely to say yes because they're not feeling like you're trying to convince them to say yes. To see how that works, okay? All right, so a couple other things. Another one I like is the positive question. Sometimes what we want to do is to find that empty hole that we can fill. They tell us they don't like something and we go, yay, we have something they're gonna love, then we want to go in and fill that hole. But people don't like to talk about negative stuff. It doesn't come off real well. So the way I like to do it instead is start with a positive question, okay? So let's use chocolate because I love chocolate, okay, Jen? So we'll play the chocolate game for a minute. So instead of asking someone what they don't like about something, okay, I like to ask people, what do you like about something? So what do you like about, let's see. Tell me 3 things that Dove Chocolate. I know they have really cool. Like I've had the little teeny Reese's peanut butter cups chips that you put in the cookies. Tell me some other things that make your product unique, real quick.
Am I still muted or am I good?
No, I hear you. I unmuted you.
Oh, okay. We have some like cinnamon dusted. It's Saigon cinnamon dusted milk chocolate covered almonds. So it's like an exclusive product that you can't get anywhere else.
Okay.
We have in our health and wellness line, we have a vitalized drink mix, which promotes circulation.
Cool.
And it's just like a packet of Crystal Light you would add to your water and drink it.
Cool.
But it has chocolate flavonols in it. So you're still getting your chocolate, but you're just drinking it now in a healthy way.
Yeah. I'm all for drinking chocolate.
Right. See, and then, we have tons of baking products like chocolate lava cakes and truffle fudge brownies that have a half of a pound of dark chocolate chips included in the box that you mix into your mix.
Cool. Okay. So, here would be a question. What do you like most about having a box mix on hand? Okay. And, then asking, is that something that you're comfortable, if you have guests, do you feel comfortable, serving that to your guests? Or what would you like different about a box mix? Okay. Something where you can lead into, you have something that's a little bit higher quality. You see what I'm saying? So what do you like about using box mixes? Or what do you like about grabbing a snack of chocolate? What do you like about energy drinks that you're drinking? What's your favorite kind of chocolate to have? Those kind of questions. Because the other thing I found out is if somebody says, what do you not like about something? It doesn't necessarily mean you know what they do like. Because they could say, I don't like peanut butter. And you go, oh, I have things with almonds. They go, I don't like almonds either. Versus what do you like? Oh, I love caramel with chocolate. Oh, okay, let me tell you what I got with caramel with chocolate. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sometimes it just turns into a guessing game if we're just guessing, if we just find out one thing they don't like versus we tunnel right into what they do like.
Gotcha.
Makes sense? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I like that kind of question instead. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
I'm going to mute you because you have some background noise. And if you'll move
Okay.
the camera, then I can see your face a little more. All right, perfect. Hi. Okay, so the questions of positive, what do you like about, what's your favorite part about, what do you know about? Okay, so if someone's buying chocolate, it's pretty easy to ask them, hey, have you heard that there's like a girls' night home party where you can have chocolate? Or what have you heard about that? Or something like that. You can always do, but I would start in with, hey, is this chocolate for you? Are you a chocolate fanatic? Or what do you like about chocolate? Or who's the chocolate for? You want that open-ended question. And it's real easy to turn that into something about, your chocolate treats that you've got. And you come in and show people how to make fun things. Do you see how that works?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh, one other question is, what is your experience with? So what is your experience with baking? What do you, what kind of chocolate things do you like to bake? Those kind of questions. Okay, that would also be a good way to go into that. Okay. All right. So the next one is finding their most urgent need. This can be a key question that really gets down to finding out what's really most important. So, doTERRA people. Okay, so my doTERRA people, if you got talking to somebody about their family's health, okay, one of the things that you could ask that would help you figure out what really is the first thing you should be talking about is, if you could improve one person's health in your home, whose would it be, and what is their symptoms, or what is their illness that you're trying to treat? Narrowing it down to that kind of thing. If you could improve on just one thing, that is an amazing question to ask people so that you're not guessing, because sometimes we start throwing information out about our company and we're hoping there's this kind of sales rule, and I call it infomercialing when people do this. But because we're meeting with people face to face, we don't have to do this. When you stay, if you've ever stayed up late at night, and there's always something that's for the kitchen, right? And it's this waffle maker, it's this roaster, it's some cooker. And by the time you're done, you're convinced you're going to be skinny, your house is going to be clean, your relationship with your husband's going to be better. I mean, the whole world is going to be better because of this silly little cooking item, right? So sometimes some of us, when we're meeting with people face to face, we do the same thing to people, but we don't have to, because we can see them and we can ask questions. We don't have to unload the 16 reasons why it's great and wonderful. We only have to tell the 3 things that it's great and wonderful, because we've asked enough questions to find out what the 3 things are that are important to them. Okay, so I really, this is a big no-no with me, is infomercialing, because you don't have to. If you're being friendly and you have a nice long list of questions to get to know people, that's the ideal way to go about this, because then you don't waste their time. It will feel like it takes more time at first, okay? Because you're asking them questions and getting to know them, and you're like, am I ever going to get to talk about, this product? But when you find out this information and you go, wow, you know what? Because you've talked about this, this, and this, I'm wondering if this thing that I have might be a good fit for you, okay? So it always come back to this last sentence. I wonder if this would be a good fit for you. You've got to ask questions. You will come off so much more personable. And the really nice thing about this is when you've been personable, ask lots of questions. Let's just say, poor Jen, this person just hates chocolate. Okay, absolutely. I mean, I have a couple of friends who they don't like chocolate. I think it's the strangest thing ever. I can't even imagine. But guess what? She got to know this person and made friends with them. I can guarantee that person knows 6 other people who does like chocolate. Okay? So when you're personable, you've made a friend, you can ask for referrals because you've made a nice, solid contact with them, versus the other way around. You're just looking to try to tell them about your product. You're not going to have the chance to ask for referrals. Okay, so it's really amazing what happens. So then when you find out their needs and you tell them just about the 3 important parts of your product that they need versus everything that your product could do, I mean, holy cow, you doTERRA could go on and on and on forever, because you have a list a mile long of these really cool oils that do 16,000 different things. You could stand there all day boring someone, okay? And so finding out about what is important to them goes so far and really does save you time. You'll get more referrals, you'll get more repeat business, all because they saw how much you cared about them before you went in for the kill. Okay, you just can't do that. This really does make a huge difference. Okay, another set of questions that's real fun and easy that helps you get into a conversation with somebody is something with common ground. Like when the Super Bowl was going on, if you're here in Washington, it would have been pretty safe bet that 80–90% of people you talked to, if you talked about the Seahawks, you were going to have a friendly conversation. Okay? You could start with sports, you can start with weather, you can start something about a holiday that's going on. The other thing I love to talk about, because I'm not from Tri-Cities, and luckily I love it here. It'd be a little bit harder if I didn't like the area. I love to ask people, are you from here? How long have you lived here? Is your family from here? Because you'll find out all sorts of information about them when they start, oh, it's my family, and they'll tell you all sorts of stuff about themselves. I love to talk about just the city that we live in. Okay, that's one of my favorite things to do. Just find a nice common ground. That's a great place to get started. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, the last one is asking somebody's opinion on something. That's a really good one too. People love to tell you their opinion. Do you know what the #1 used word is in our country, probably the world? What's the #1 used word? 400 times more than any other word. Do you know what it is? Me. Almost. Very close. It only has 1 letter.
I.
Right.
It's I. Yep. Okay. So I is used more than anything. People do want to talk about themselves. And the thing is, we go up and we start talking to someone and we get nervous about what to say, and so then we just start talking instead. Nope. Slow down. Get them talking about themselves as much as you can. And yes, you kind of have to do it a little bit different. Someone in an aisle at Target, you're kind of more in a hurry versus you may be sitting in a waiting room together for an hour, okay? You got to kind of fill it out, and it's not always going to be the perfect solution, but I promise you, the more you practice it, you'll get better at it. And the first 10 people may only end up friends, like we talked about first. You just made a new friend, and that person loved the fact you complimented her shirt. Don't worry about it, okay? It'll get better, and you'll get to a point where you finally get to start having business conversations. But just practice for a while. Okay, any thoughts, comments? Which of those approach a new person, statement, question, which one are you most comfortable with using? Everybody give me your feedback. Let me unmute everybody here.
I like starting with a compliment. And especially, I love kids, so I have a real easy time telling people, oh, she's so cute, or I love her dress, or whatever. And sometimes they'll just say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know where to go from there. And sometimes in the checkout line, it's got to go fast because they're going to be leaving.
Yeah,
you can ask, how old is she?
do that.
You can ask, do you have other children? Okay, there's lots of things you can ask after that. Get to know the girl. Hi, are you helping your mom? Sometimes I'll talk to the kid.
Big mom.
See, I'm, friendly and nice. Okay. Ask, find out questions about the child or the parent. Let's see. Even asking them, what's the favorite part about this age or this phase that they're in? Okay, there's lots of ways you can go from there. Write down, in fact, you can email me some examples, things that would be comfortable for you to say, and I can help you tweak the wording. Okay? All right. All right, who's up next? Give me a wave if you want to practice them.
All right.
Okay, go, Jim.
Okay, cool.
Jim, are you talking to us?
All right. Did you get texts out there?
All right, we'll mute that one. Okay, so Nan, which of these start talking to people things would be most comfortable for you?
Well, I think being a grandmother and going to the grandkids' sports games and stuff, it gives me more of a chance to sit and visit with other people that are other children that are on the team. So I always ask them, whose child is yours, and does he go to the same school that my grandson does, and strike a conversation up that way.
Perfect. Well done. Excellent. Super. And that's where you could ask them what their favorite family activities are. Okay. They say something about camping. Guess where that goes for you? Okay. Do you have family close around here? Are you planning any family reunions this summer? Okay. You see how it's like you don't have to completely lead the conversation. You just have to see which doors can be opened. You see what I'm saying? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Kathy, how about you? What's most comfortable for you?
I'm actually pretty comfortable with any of them. A compliment obviously is always a great starter. Depending on who the person is, and if it's a complete stranger, I think a compliment is typically the best way to start it.
Perfect.
But I like everything. I mean, I've been taking notes, so I wrote it all down.
Okay, super. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Barb.
I have the hardest time with is asking the open-ended questions so I don't get just a yes or a no.
I know. It takes practice, Barb, okay? That's why you need to get some typed up, send them to me, and one of the things that we could do at the end of the call is match some of you up and have you actually role play, call each other and role play with each other, okay? because it does. I'm not going to lie, even a little bit. It does take practice. It's not easy. But I promise you, after you get doing it, it will roll off your tongue. It will probably take 30 to 90 days, okay? One, to just remember to talk to people, and then you got to remember the open-ended questions. But you could have, like in your car, you could have your goal, and you could have 3 open-ended questions that you're going to try, okay? And then the next step is your follow-up questions when you feel like it's dead. Asking them, you know, more about their child, tell me if your family's around here, you know, those things like we talked about with man, okay? So all those kind of things. Okay, it will take practice, but you can do it, okay? And it feels really good when it clicks.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you'll walk away and you'll go, oh, that one worked! And you'll walk away and go, oh, that one was a little awkward. How can I do that different? Okay, it's okay, but you won't find out if you don't practice.
Right.
Okay, some will be weird. And there's even like 1% of the time you'll talk to someone and they don't even respond. And you have to realize, okay, like when I go somewhere with my kids and someone, I'll be like, oh, like talk to me. I feel so bad because like I'm zoned, okay? So like don't feel bad if someone doesn't respond because they probably are just very focused on what they're doing, okay? All right, how about you, Heather? Which ones of those are the most comfortable?
Well, I feel like just showing up and being authentic. You know, if you really believe in your product or your service that you're offering and you have your ears open, there's always a way to work it into conversation. And you're right, it does if you're uncomfortable approaching people at the beginning. You know, I actually would say that relationship building is the most important. And I think if you're uncomfortable, then perhaps that's an indicator that you're going into the conversation maybe not with a clear intent, with the intent to make a sale rather than build a relationship.
Right.
So that's what I focus on first.
That's what we talked about at the very first. You've missed the first part of the call.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so that's what we talked about at the first. We're just talking about now different ways to approach people. What way is the most comfortable for you to approach somebody? Whether it's a compliment, it's an open-ended question. Let's see. Finding common ground, asking their opinion, any of those. Which would be one that you would start with?
I think I would probably go towards a small compliment and then finding common ground, because I try to zero in on the relationship building first.
Yeah.
So I want to find something that, you know, we can both discuss and we can both contribute to kind of set that foundation first.
Excellent. Fantastic. Super. Okay, Jen, how about you?
Sorry, I'm eating dinner.
Totally fine.
That's why I've been off screen.
Okay, no problem.
I think pretty much like for me, it'd be more like the quick compliment. Like I walk up to you and be like, you know, I really love your smoky eyes. I can never master it. How do you do it?
Yeah, that's a great one.
But I'm nervous asking people.
Yeah.
You know, talking to people, I don't know. I'm just, why did I pick a job in sales when I can't talk to random people? You know, like my hairdresser I've been going to for like 8 years. Today was the first time I'm like, hey, can I leave a catalog here? You know, because like it's hard to be, you know,
right.
Like you're pushing on your friends. You don't want to lose your friends.
No.
You know. So one of the weird questions that Dove people pass around is like if you want to like open up a conversation with people, like if I run into you in the grocery store, I'd be like, hey, you look familiar. Have you been to one of my Dove parties before? Which may or may not work, but it's not an open-ended question. How do I change that?
Well, there's not really a way to change that one. I guess to me that one's a really leading question. That definitely wouldn't be one of my favorite because it's not building a relationship first. I mean, I get the whole goal is it's like they go, no, I haven't been to one. I know what you're talking about. What's a Dove party? And then you get to talk about it. So I get why they do that. Okay, it's not it wouldn't be my first way to approach it. Anytime somebody's buying a dessert, I mean, I think your favorite place would be the grocery store, Costco, and you go, anytime somebody's buying dessert.
I know, but I can't just camp out in the baking aisle.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I sold scrapbook supplies. I lived at Michael's. But asking them, you know, ooh, do you like chocolate as much as you like cheesecake? You know what I mean? Those kind of things, finding some common ground so you actually find out if they like chocolate before you go for the, you know, oh, by the way, I have these really fun, you know, chocolate-filled parties. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a chocolate-filled party? But you're still going to come up more authentic if you first find a way to talk about, find a common ground with them and make a relationship first. And that might be why you're nervous, is because you know your goal is to talk about chocolate versus first have a goal. I'm going to make some new friends, and hey, what of my new friends isn't going to want chocolate? Well, probably 99% of them will. There's that one weird one that doesn't like chocolate. Sorry if you're a weird one. I love chocolate. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might want to try some of these other things to see if there's a way to then, you know, you can ask somebody, hey, what do you do? And they go, well, what do you do? And you go, I get to play with chocolate. Okay? Like, I would make it more fun than I do these Dove parties. I'd be like, huh? It's like, oh my gosh, can you believe I get to go play with other women and we try chocolate for 2 hours a night? What? Are you serious? There's a chocolate party? You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's just how I would do it. I mean, I get why that other way is working for some. You just didn't get to know them very well before you went there.
Right.
So that would just be my suggestion.
All right.
So, okay. All right. So let me talk to you about a couple other things. What time is it? Oh, okay. We're at an hour. All right. Let me tell you about a couple quick things. All right. So one of the things I like to do is we've talked about this question before. We're on number 5, ask permission. One of the things that I have found that really helps is when we ask permission. Hey, can I tell you about something that I've seen that worked for other people in the situation? When you ask permission, and you're going to get a couple no's, but the thing is, you know right off, and then you didn't waste your time trying to talk to them as fast as you could before they walked off, okay? If they go, yeah, I guess so, I call it a sales wall. It comes down a little bit, and they're a little more open than if you go, oh, your kid has a runny nose? Hey, look, I got this great thing for runny noses, blah, 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 and we start going off. It just doesn't, people kind of go like this a little bit, and sometimes it's mentally more than physically. It really is amazing what happens when we just ask permission first, okay? And in that sentence, ask if it's good. Just tell them, I want to find out if it's a good fit for you. I know not one thing works for everybody. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I would just love to share a sample with you, or bring you a catalog, or, you know, send you a website about your campground, whatever it is, okay? Now, let me tell you my carnal rule about business cards. I mean, absolute rule about business cards is that if it is tempting to not ask for their name and number when you hand out that card, you don't take cards with you, okay? And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I didn't realize, like, everybody didn't understand this rule, and they were about hyperventilating, and I was like, oh dear. I'm like, look, if you don't get their name and number, the likelihood of them calling you is about this much. And I would say, Nan, yours is just a tiny bit different because you have 10 big sales a year, whereas everybody else is having a whole bunch of little sales. Okay, so it's a little bit different. I still would say get their name and number if you find some way to connect, that someone's having a wedding or a family reunion or something that would fit your thing. I would still get their name and number. But if you are even this much tempted to give them the business card and assume they're going to call you, this is how you do it, okay? This is what I say instead. You know what? I don't have any business cards on me. Let me get your name and number and I'll give you a call, okay? if it is that much tempting and you think you might give in and just hope they're going to call you because you gave them a card, you don't take cards with you. Okay? That is how I solve that problem. If you're going to exchange, that's fine. If you still, committed to get their name and number. And, and I'll tell them stuff. It's like, you know what? You're going to get out of here. You're busy. And I see that this could be a good fit for you. Let me get your name and number. So if you lose my card, I'll give you a call in a couple days. Okay? I let them be human. I tell them that I understand that they are busy and human, and I'm going to give you a jingle. And if they say, no, I'll call you if I'm interested, they might go on and Facebook stalk you or stalk your website and then decide if they want more information. That's okay too. Okay? You're going to have lots of different scenarios happen. This is not a magic pill that everyone you talk to becomes your amazing customer. Okay? But I promise you'll have more customers, and there'll be more loyal customers, and you'll get more referrals when you've been more authentic like this. Okay? Do you see why? Okay? So any questions on how to handle that? Either how you're going to get their contact info if you hand out their business card, or how to handle it if you don't have business cards on hand. Okay.
Well, what I do if I'm giving someone a sample and we're face-to-face is, I have to place an equal value exchange on it. So I let them know that, what I'm giving to them has great value, and that I'm happy to share with them if I can follow up with them in 48 hours. So I will get their information first and then hand them the samples.
Awesome.
Of whatever it is they need.
So Heather, let me tell you, one of the things I found is when even though we know we're trying to find a way to make sure that we didn't just waste our time and our money, what we want to do is still make it about them. Let me see how you feel about this approach, just a teeny bit differently. One of the things I found out, okay, so I'm pretending I'm giving you a sample, okay? So I'm talking to you, you're my new friend that I just met at Target, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm giving you an example. One of the things I found is sometimes, because we're busy moms, we get home with the sample, or we use it a little bit and we've run out, or we're not, we're trying to tell if it worked or not, or maybe I want more because it is working well. So I love to follow up in 48 hours just to see if you have any other questions about it, tell you about 2 other ways you can use it if, the putting it on their feet hasn't worked, or, do you know what I mean? I make it all about how I want to help them more, and because they can only remember so much right now, I don't want to give them, the whole enchilada right now. Just give them a couple ways. Let me call you in a day or 2 to give you a couple ideas and see how it's working, because I want to make sure that this worked for you and get something else for you if that didn't.
Right.
Do you see how that's different? Is it a
that's
I'm only going to give that to you if you give me this. It just.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean to come across that way. I don't.
No. I just. Yeah, I mean.
I like that. I
generalized it, but. So it's a way to get their contact info and totally make it all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, couple things going down to the bottom of the page. And your 24 to 48 hour rule, that's perfect. Okay, you do definitely want to follow up with people that you meet in 24 to 48 hours. So a couple things that I encourage you to do is either on your smartphone or get a notepad, keep track of the people that you meet, both people that are just friends that you don't have contact info, and those that are customers. Because one, you want to see what your ratio is. Because sometimes you feel like, we're just making friends, but when you track it, you go, oh, look, 50% of the people I made are now customers, okay, or whatever the ratio may be. So keep track of it, because that's actually another way to hold yourself accountable to remember to do it the next day, is because you have taken a minute to record what happened that day. It will help you remember to do it the next day, okay, and helps you on that ratio thing. All right. So I did one of the things in here. So what I'd encourage you, this list, there's a whole list of different scenarios, different people that you would meet. What I'd love to do is hook you up with another one of the people on the call here and let you practice with somebody else later, and it's really fun because you get brainstorming and you see amazing things happen. Like things start to click, and you'll kind of know what to do. So let me know if that either send me a message. Well, we can just ask real quick. How many of you are interested in buddying up with someone and doing a role play situation? Give me a wave. Okay, Heather, Kathy, Nan, anyone else? Barbara, Jen? Who did I hear yeah from?
Jen.
Jen? Okay, so I have 4 total. And what we can do, Barb, if you want to, this is recorded. We'll get it to Claudine, and you guys can practice with each other.
Okay.
Okay, so would you prefer, I know Kathy and Heather, you two know each other, and you both sell doTERRA. Would you rather be matched with someone who doesn't sell doTERRA, so like you really have to practice like it's a, cold, someone totally fresh, or would you rather practice with each other?
I'm open. Whatever. What do you think, Kathy? What are you comfortable with?
Be just as comfortable with Heather as any, I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, Heather and I don't know each other that well, but we have talked on the phone and we have interacted, I guess. So I think she could be very helpful for me.
Okay, awesome. So let's put Kathy and Heather together.
Oh, one.
Okay. And so Jen and Nan. We're gonna put, hey, this is a perfect chocolate and fun family occasions, right? Who doesn't want both of those? Okay. So Jen and Jen, I'm trying to remember. Jen, can you send me your email address?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I know I have Nan's. We'll hook you guys up. Well, your phone number and your email address. Okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay, what is Jen's business? What does Jen do?
She goes and does parties with Dove chocolate.
Dove chocolate?
Yeah. Imagine you just have a whole night of trying chocolate. How much more fun does it get than that?
Really?
Wouldn't be real good for my waistline, but I have a lot of fun doing it. All right.
It's fun.
So let me tell you a little bit more about what I do. Tonight, you heard all sorts of different types of questions to ask people, okay? This is just one situation when you have a business that you should ask questions. We should ask questions when we're in a party setting with a group. Like I have a way that you find a way to ask questions and get people more involved, find out what they need when you're in a group. I have ways to call and ask people like that are new customers, that are being hostesses, people that you're recruiting, or if you have team members, when you have a team member that either is getting excited or someone who's kind of gone flat, questions to ask them to help them figure out, what they want to do next and where they're at. I have all these questions that reveal needs and help figure out what to do. And what I do is I couple those with goal setting. You heard some of my goal setting techniques. This is just a little piece on what I do with finding new contacts, okay? I have a whole goal setting program that helps you with business. So there's a couple ways that I do this. My main way is, and Nan's kind of started with some of this with me, but I have what's called a 90-day challenge. And so for 90 days, once a week, we do one of these online conferences. We were doing Hangouts on Google, but I think we're gonna go with this because this has worked a lot better tonight. And so we come together once a week, and what I'll do is I'll have an early morning call, an afternoon call, and an evening call. And I'll send you a video first. You'll watch the video on your time when it's convenient. Then you have these 3 different times to call in and ask questions and brainstorm how to do it with your product. If you're feeling stuck, it's like, I see why that works, but how will that work for me? And so you can call in and ask questions and get more information. There'll be 3 different times during the day on a Thursday. Now, what I do is really, really fun because people, they see goals happen in that 90 days. It is so fun. I have everybody start with a bucket list because that is the most comfortable way to get started with goals. It just feels a lot we don't take those things so seriously. I want to climb this mountain. I want to go to Australia. I want to whatever. It's not quite so serious. And I see people's hearts open and little miracles happen. We talk about setting goals with your family. And then we talk about these different ways to get really solid business tips and really help you go the next level. When I learned all these skills, I had already earned a high level in my company, earned the trip, and those kind of things. And I doubled my sales in 4 months when I learned these tips and how to ask really good questions. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So this is a program that we're starting a new group on the 27th of May. It's on a Thursday. And I'd send you out a video. You'd watch that, come on with your questions. And I actually do this thing, it's called Sacred Economics. So I let people choose what they pay. People choose anything. It kind of depends on, like, if somebody has a great big team, or if somebody knows they're going to use that information to share it with other people. Sometimes they pay the higher end. Some people, you know, when they're just getting started, pay the lower end. But I remember when I got started and I wanted help and I didn't know where to find the help, I would have killed for this kind of information. And so I don't want anyone to not get involved with this because of how much it costs. So people pay in that 3-month period. Some people pay it all up front. Some people pay a couple payments. So they pay anywhere between about $300 and $600. So let me ask you, Jen, if you had one extra party a month, would that pay that $100 fee?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So most people find if I help them work one extra day a week, that usually that gets paid for. And my whole goal is to make sure I'm just an investment for you and that you make a lot more money than you pay me. I just want to be a small investment and then you're off and running and make a lot more in the long run, get more recruits, and you like make more money exponentially. So with Nan, she has like these bigger sales. It's a 1 weekend thing. I know for a couple $100 that if I help her book 3 new gigs, you know, for her, that's, $4,500. So I always want to make sure I'm just an investment for people. So if you would like to just have a one-on-one with me that's for free and find out if this is something that is a good fit for you based on your strengths and those things that you'd like to get better at and the long-term goals you have for your business, why don't you just let me know and I'll give you a call. Who would like a free one-on-one?
Baby.
Jen, are you up for that?
I don't know. I already pay for a personal coach.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do, and I don't know that I'm happy to talk for, one-on-one with you. I just don't have, my funds are sort of committed as far as, coaching and stuff goes right now.
Right.
So.
Well, I can just tell you more about what we do, find out about your goals. I'd love to just get to know you better and,
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Do you mind telling me your phone number with everyone on the call?
Oh, sure. It's 509.
Okay.
460.
Okay.
7519.
7519. Okay. I'll give you a call and we'll see. Jen, do you have a team?
Technically, yes. I only have one person that sells. The team is, there's 3 people on it, but only one person sells. So I guess it's still more than just me, but.
Really acting big.
Okay. No problem. Sounds good. All right. Barb, are you up for a one-on-one, hun?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Barb, what's your phone number, hun?
531-1902.
What were the last 4 digits?
1902.
1902. Okay, I'll give you a jingle. And how about you, Kathy?
I would be interested in a one-on-one. I'm in a situation where funds are very limited right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually looking for employment. I'm just very interested in doTERRA and getting started with this and learning more about it. And I was kind of curious as to how you made money on what you do. So a one-on-one sounds great. I just don't know that I can commit to anything else.
That's fine. That's what the one-on-one is just to find out if it is a good fit. And I let people do deposits. Like, I know that they're going to make more money in 3 months when they're done with me. So some people make like a $50 deposit, then they pay a little more, then they pay a little more at the end. So if you're interested, we always find a way. I will not turn people away if they want to bad enough.
Okay. Okay.
Just so you know, to try to, lessen the pressure.
Well, and I've learned with age just to be really upfront and honest. I mean, it doesn't do us any good to not be, so.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So what's your phone number, Kathy?
It's 531
Okay.
8763.
8763. Now, are all of you available during the day, or what's the best time to call everyone?
Daytime.
Anytime? Okay.
Evenings for me, days during the daytimes are pretty much out.
Okay. And Nan, you're on a group. Nan's already part of a group. So we have some calls recorded for her. I know she's off and going. Okay. How about, what's the best time of day for you, Jen?
Evenings, like late evenings.
Okay.
I work full time. I'm a single mom.
Okay.
So, my son doesn't go down until 8:30ish. So
Okay.
I put my business off until 9 o'clock at night, typically when I'm, not being a mom.
I'll send you a text, and then I'll, is your son down? Is it a good time? And I'll check in with you first before I just ring you. All
right.
Okay.
Yep.
And Kathy, what's the best time for you, hon?
I'm kind of flexible because I have my own house cleaning business, so I do that part-time.
Uh-huh.
So probably the best time for me is going to be around like mid-afternoon, 3:30, 4, that type of thing, or after 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
I have a grandchild that lives with me, so after 8.
Gotcha. Okay. So late evenings. Okay. So now, were these all cell phone numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine.
Perfect. Okay. Then I can send you a text. Are you interested in a one-on-one to see if this would be a good fit for you, Heather?
Yeah, I can do that next week.
Okay. Can you remind me your phone number? I might have it in my phone still, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, 509-727-7785.
My husband's a 727 also.
Oh,
So
I have company arriving in a few hours, and then they're leaving on Wednesday. So anytime after Wednesday.
Okay. So call on Thursday. Perfect. When's Zach getting married? Or does he have a date?
They haven't set a date yet. He graduated a couple weeks ago, so that's good.
Pictures. I know. I'm so happy for him. I remember when I was like, please get through CVC. Please. Please graduate from high school. I'm like, woo!
Yeah. I think she wants to get through one more year of school. Maybe they'll get married in her last year of school.
Gotcha. Cool. That's so fun.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, he looks so grown up. I'm like, stop. Oh my gosh. I know. So cool.
Yes. I think, and we can talk about it when you call and see how budgeting works, but I'll talk to him about it and maybe even see if he's open to you calling, and maybe he, I can help him pay for the coaching for him because he's, college graduate looking for his first real job. So.
I know how he thinks. I know he's like got kind of a little entrepreneur, kind of do my own thing kind of mindset. So
yeah,
I know how to work around that with him.
Yeah.
Love Zach. He's so sweet.
Thanks.
So cool. All right. Any questions for me? Anything else I can help you with this topic, or anything else you want to see if I have any ideas on?
Is the recording going to go out so I can catch the first part that I missed? Will you be posting the recording?
I'll post it on YouTube. I'll send out some emails. So it formulates, and then I can take it from my computer and put it on YouTube. Okay. Just to tell you one other quick thing. I knew I was going to forget this. So my next free class will be Monday, June 9th, and we're going to talk about setting goals for summer and being really deliberate. So, if you've got this big chunk of time that's for a vacation, or, summer is just, it's for at least for my world, when I have kids at school, it's sporadic. It's not as consistent. And so being really deliberate about making sure you're getting your business fit in there, yet at the same time playing hard. I believe in working hard and playing hard, but you gotta schedule them, or neither of them will happen. So that's what we'll talk about next. We'll do them consistently on a Tuesday at noon after the end of June. I just have some other classes that are finishing up, but this one will be on a Monday at 11:30. So it'll be during the day, but then it'll be recorded and you can watch it on your own time and give me any feedback, share it with friends, that kind of stuff. Okay?
Great.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, guys. It's been a pleasure to get to know all of you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night. Appreciate meeting all of you. Bye. Good to see you, Nan. We'll be chatting soon. We got to catch up, Nan, okay? Is calling you in
yeah.
the best time, Nan?